As a shift worker, you're probably sick and tired of hearing that you need to get more sleep. You need to be getting 6 to 8 hours a day, blah, blah, blah. While 6 to 8 hours is true, the bad news for women is that women need to be getting more like 9 to 10 to optimally recover from the day before, which might sound absolutely crazy in the modern world where people who work 9 to 5 struggle to get 8 hours sleep in. Never mind when you throw a shift work into the mix, which just pretty much goes against every single part of human physiology. And it's no wonder why so many shift workers are struggling by with 4, 5, 6, maybe 7 hours sleep on average across a week. See, all of our clients inside the shift worker shred, most people struggle to get an adequate amount of sleep. It's just very difficult to do. But what most people don't understand is the reasons why sleep is so important. People know that sleep is important because it's a time to rest and a time to let your brain switch off. But that's only part of the story. So I have a big theory that the more educated you are on a topic, the easier it is to stick to the teachings. Because if you can understand the logic behind the things that you're doing, it makes it more justifiable to do it when you need to do it. Whereas if you don't understand it, it can kind of feel pointless, or you can maybe feel like what you're doing isn't really going to give you any good return because you don't know if what you're doing is going to give you the return or not. So first of all, we're going to look at active brain maintenance. So when you go to sleep, your brain doesn't just switch off. It's not like a computer. You don't press shut down, and when you want to use it again, you turn it on. When you're asleep, your brain is almost as busy as you are during the day, but the tasks that it are doing are completely different. It will be rationalizing a lot of your thoughts from the day. It will be cleaning out waste product from reactions that happen inside your brain, leaves a trace of kind of like a waste product, and your brain needs time to clear that out. As well as that, it will create new neural pathways in the brain. And these are essentially like your brain learning, basically. It will connect different parts of your brain so that your brain, next time something happens again, your brain will have that link to the thing. So let's say, for example, you, at a very early age, let's say you hit your hand on a hot candle, you'll then, you'll associate that with burning. That's just develops a new neural pathway in your brain. But every day you go out and you're maybe on the job, in an ambulance, you're learning all the time, and it's important for those neural pathways to develop and to build, because otherwise you wouldn't be able to get better at your job. Now, the two stages of sleep that are most important are what's called deep sleep and REM sleep. You've probably heard of both of them. Then you've also got light sleep. Deep sleep is when your brain is doing a lot of its clearing out, and rapid eye movement is when your brain is doing a lot of its rationalizing. They're both very important, and if you remove somebody's REM or deep sleep, in a matter of weeks they will die, even if they are sleeping with light sleep. That's how important those two are. Think about it like this. Imagine that your brain is a police car and it's going job to job all day, every day for 16 hours. It then needs to go back to the station to be refueled, to have its brake pads changed, to have its tyres done, to have all of the kit bags in the back replenished, to be cleaned inside, to have the windows done, to have the outside cleaned, to have the electrics checked. If you only, and let's say that process takes 8 hours, if you only allow 6 hours for it, some of the jobs are going to get missed. And then the car goes out again to do another 16 hours, and it goes back again for 6 hours. Again, jobs are getting missed. And over time, the lack of maintenance on that car is going to cause it to go into a complete state of disrepair, probably break down, and be completely inadequate for the job that it needs to do. It's the same with your brain. You hear about all these officers that get to the end of their career and they die within 5 years. I firmly believe that lack of sleep is the biggest killer of these officers. Their brain has just deteriorated. Maybe not even a way you can tell, but things slow down, things break down over time, and brain issues are one of the fundamental big killers, because brain controls everything in your body. If your brain isn't working properly, things in your other parts of your body simply can't exist. On top of this, lack of sleep is also linked to cancer. It's linked to diabetes. It's linked to heart problems. It's linked to brain problems. So as well as not being able to think and function properly, your body just starts to break down with lack of sleep, because your body simply cannot repair enough during the night when you should be sleeping because you've been awake, or the sleep that you have been getting hasn't been restful enough. Also with Alzheimer's disease, many people think that is hereditary. It's not. There's absolutely no way for Alzheimer's to be passed from father and mother down to offspring. It simply doesn't work like that. It purely comes from lifestyle factors, and lack of sleep is the leading cause of Alzheimer's. As well as that, it also reduces your hormone system. Essentially, it causes you to hold more or create more cortisol, which is a stress hormone. And when you have more stress hormone in your body, it's a lot harder for your body to burn body fat because your body is in a state of stress, in a state of almost panic, and it wants to cling onto its resources at all costs. If you're trying to lose body fat and your sleep is, you're depriving your body of sleep, you're making it harder to lose fat. As well as that, you are also causing increasing inflammation. What is inflammation? Inflammation is essentially when your body is in a state of repair. But the problem is, if your body goes into too high a state of repair, you have overinflammation. And the biggest cause of cancer is overinflammation. As well as that, it also weakens your immune system. So if you're out and about dealing with customers who are maybe not the cleanest or in crowds of people and your immune system is weak, you're far more prone to be getting illnesses, whether that's kind of common colds or flu or COVID. So sleep, again, is just going to make you be less prone to getting ill. Now, another reason why shift work is really bad for humans in regards to sleep is that it disrupts your circadian rhythm. Now, your circadian rhythm is your body's internal clock that regulates things like your digestion, things like your hormone, and also when you should sleep. It's largely determined by light. So in the summer, your circadian rhythm will be slightly different to what it is in the winter due to when the nights go darker and the mornings go lighter as well. When you're a shift worker, your body just cannot get into any kind of routine with your circadian rhythm. It's constantly flipping it upside down, upside down, upside down to the point where it almost doesn't really exist anymore but it does exist, but not in any meaningful way. So when your body is unable to regulate its hormones, unable to regulate when it needs to sleep, unable to regulate digestion, it really does make it very difficult to stay on track. Now, the bad news doesn't stop there, unfortunately. Many shift workers think that, let's say they sleep for like 5 hours on their earlies, they might sleep for a few more on their lates, but when the rest days come around, they get loads of sleep and they'll sleep for 11 or 12 hours. That's okay, but it doesn't undo the damage that's been done in the previous week. You can't ever catch sleep up. You can have more sleep going forward, but you can't ever repair the damage that's already been done by the lack of sleep because there's no physiological way for that damage to be repaired, if that makes sense. Now, I've always been quite interested in sleep, but I've taken particular interest in it recently. So I've been tracking something called HRV, which is heart rate variability, on my watch. Now, HRV is the average time in milliseconds between your heartbeat when you're asleep. Typically, the higher this is, normally around like 120 if you're extremely well rested, or down at like 20 if you're really badly rested. Typically, the higher the gap is, the more well rested you are. So if you are really stressed, you might find that your heart rate variability is really low. And if you're really well rested, it'd be really high. Now, my heart rate variability is generally around 102 milliseconds, which is pretty good. But when I was drinking on Friday night, my HRV dropped down to like 60 something. Basically means my sleep is in a complete state of disrepair. And then again on Saturday, because I slept so badly on Friday night, I had a nap on Saturday afternoon, and immediately after waking up I decided to have a coffee, not realising that it was 6 p.m. in the evening. That night it took me ages to get to sleep, and again my sleep quality was really poor. Fast forward to Sunday night, and I've not had any caffeine or any alcohol, and my HRV bounces right back, which is basically a complete production of why caffeine and alcohol are a really bad idea when you're anywhere close to sleep. Because if you're a shift worker and you're only getting like 6 hours, and you're then including alcohol or caffeine in the mix, it's taking the sleep that you're getting with the time that you've got and making it really low quality. And on that Saturday, I was really tired all day. Sunday, I didn't feel great because I slept badly again because of the caffeine. And it wasn't until yesterday morning, on Monday, that I actually felt normal again. And it all started from drinking. So drinking and caffeine have such a negative effect on your sleep quality. And it's not until you track your HRV that you quite understand why. Now, all the bad news is over. So now we need to look at what we can do to counteract the effect of shift work on your sleep pattern. First of all, what we need to do is try and maintain as much consistency as you possibly can. I appreciate you probably thinking, how am I going to do that? For example, if you're on, let's do the police 6 on, 4 off, 2 earlys, 2 lates, 2 nights. From your first rest day, you need to be getting into the habit of going to bed about 8 hours before you need to wake up on your first early. So let's say, for example, you wake up at 5:30 on your first early, wind back the clock, 8 hours, that takes us to 9:30 in the evening. It might sound pretty early to go to bed, but unfortunately, if you want to have some kind of routine, you want to have some kind of rhythm, it starts in the evening before. And by getting into that habit of going to bed at 9:30, yes, you might feel like you're missing out on things, but then when it comes to that first early, the night before, you can go to bed and get 8 hours sleep. And tell me how many times you've gone to work on that first early with a crap night's sleep, poor nutrition, maybe dehydrated, over reliant on caffeine. You get to the end of that first day shift and you feel absolutely exhausted, and you've still got 3 or 5 shifts left to go. It can all be negated by getting into a good sleep routine before that first early. Honestly, it's an absolute game changer. Also need to make sure that your room is relatively dark and cold. Again, I appreciate that's hard in summer, but get some blackout curtains, get yourself an eye mask. Make sure that there's a breeze in there, make sure there's a fan. Ideally, you want the room to be as cold as possible, and then you have a duvet or a quilt to make you feel warm underneath. If the room is hot, it really negatively affects your sleep. As I mentioned already, avoid caffeine and alcohol before sleeping. Appreciate, again, on night shifts, after late, sometimes you just need a caffeine, coffee, Monster, whatever to get you through. I appreciate that. But if you can limit it and there is an option there to not have it, I would advise you to do so every single time. Finally, exercise. Exercise is really good for putting your body into a state of repair. And when your body's in a state of repair, it then needs to sleep deeper. So if you can maybe go to the gym after like 7 o'clock after an early, and then you go to bed at 9:30, you will need to sleep deeper, and your body will put you into a deeper state of sleep so that you recover more, and therefore you will be more recovered the next day. Now, hopefully by understanding the reasons why sleep is so important, especially as a shift worker, it will help you to stay on track with good sleep hygiene, good sleep routine, good sleep regularity, and improving your sleep quality. Because if you are not getting good sleep, I've said it before, I'll say it again, you are playing life on hard mode. Every single thing that you do is more difficult without sleep. Another actionable step, which for me has been a game changer, and you probably heard me say it again and again, and that's get your mobile phone out of your bedroom. It speeds up the time that you go to sleep in the evening. It speeds up the time that you get out of bed in the morning. It stops you filling your head with doom scrolling, creating a dopamine addiction, which makes everything else harder as well. Our best clients don't have their phones in their bedroom. Simple as that. And once you start to see and feel the effects of no phone in the bedroom, it makes it so much easier to do it as well. Now, the fact that shift work makes it very difficult to have a good sleep routine is not your fault, but it is your problem. So you need to take these actionable steps and actually start implementing them. Because if nothing changes, nothing changes. You will keep going to bed late on your first early, and you will keep having a miserable set because you're playing life on hard mode. So please take these steps, go and use them, have more fun, be healthier, be fitter, be happier, have more friends, be better at your job. There are literally no downsides to getting more sleep. So please improve your sleep. If you found this episode useful, please give it a like and follow so you don't miss the next one.